Hi everyone, this is NUSensei. By far one of the most common questions I get for archery is around the concept of training. How do I increase my strength to use higher draw weights? How can I train to improve my shooting? Do I need to go to the gym and do weight training? And I do understand where this comes from. Every sport has some form of training, whether it's a team sport or a ball sport or an individual performance like in dance or gymnastics. Every form of sport has training which takes you away from the match condition and requires you to put time and effort into a training routine that improves your strength, conditioning, flexibility, and so on. Archery isn't any different. Many people have this perception that shooting is training, that by going out to the range or going out to the field and having a shot every few days means that you are training in archery. And in fact, this isn't quite true. Shooting is practice, yes, and practice is a form of training. You do need to practice under match conditions or shooting long distance to see where you are at. But practice by itself is not training. And again, think about the parallels to other sports. If you play soccer or you play football and you train, you don't always play practice matches. You do other things. You do stretches, you do weight training, you do cardio, and you do drills. The same applies to archery. So what is the archery equivalent to training? What separates casual archers who just shoot and practice from the serious professional archers who train? While there are many different kinds of training programs which might be used by individuals or clubs or national teams, one of the most well-known is the SPTs, or Specific Purpose Training. This system was devised by Coach Kisik, formerly the Australian national coach, currently the US national coach, and well known for his published works Total Archery and Total Archery Inside the Archer. The purpose of SPTs is to focus on 4 specific aspects of archery form, hence specific purpose training. These aspects are endurance, strength, flexibility, and structure. I will be demonstrating these 4 exercises in this video. More information can be found on the KSL official website, linked in the description below, as well as the Total Archery books. The first exercise is endurance, and this is basically a holding exercise. What you do is come to full draw using correct technique, reach your holding position, and hold that for 30 seconds to a minute. Coach Lee does note that during this sequence, you should be aiming at something. If you don't aim at a point, then you will lose structure and you will start to fatigue. By maintaining aim as well as holding for the duration of this exercise, you will maintain correct form. And again, Coach Lee will emphasize that these exercises must be done with correct form. After you complete your hold, you rest. Your rest time should be double that of your hold time. So if you held for 30 seconds, your rest time is 60 seconds. This is highly important, as anyone who trains in the gym will know that you need to give your muscles a chance to relax. Otherwise, you will strain yourself, you will fatigue faster, and you may injure yourself. You do this 10 times, after which you rest for 2 minutes and then you repeat again. This whole sequence should take around half an hour. Now, for most of these exercises, you do need to set realistic goals. If you feel that you can't do the whole routine, instead of doing 12 repetitions, do 10 or do 7 or do 5, and challenge yourself to go up to more repetitions as you feel more comfortable. In addition, you can add more challenge by holding for longer. So instead of holding for 30 seconds, you can hold for 40 seconds or up to a minute. If you can't hold for 30 seconds, then you may in fact be overbowed. And this is a reality that many archers have to accept, that perhaps they need to move down to a lighter draw weight. You do need to be able to hold for at least 30 seconds to use your bow comfortably. Another way to increase gains, especially if you find yourself holding for more than 45 seconds, is to add weight to the bow. This can be done by changing the limbs or using a heavier bow, or barring that, using a rubber band or stretching band wrapped around the riser to add weight to the bow. The next exercise focuses on strength, and this will most resemble the weight training you might be familiar with. What you do is to go from the setup position to the hold position, going through the transfer and the loading phases to get to your full draw. You then hold for 3 to 5 seconds, you let down, but only to your setup position. You then immediately go back to your full draw, hold for 3 to 5 seconds and repeat. You do this for 5 to 12 repetitions for 3 to 5 sets, depending on your strength and conditioning. Between each set, you rest for 3 to 5 minutes and then you repeat. Again, as with the endurance exercise, try to maintain correct form and alignment, and it does help if you have something to aim at. And likewise, this should take around half an hour. The third exercise focuses on flexibility. What you do for this exercise is you reach full draw, then extend that draw by around 1 to 1.6 centimeters, going through a continuous expansion that takes around 10 seconds. To do this, you should be using an arrow, and for safety purposes, you should be pointing at a target. So what you do is to go through your shot process as normal, and as usual, maintain the correct form, draw, and then slowly expand to go past the clicker. And then you let down. And from the back view, now this can be quite punishing because you're extending beyond your normal flexibility, hence why this is a focus on training, and also why you should be aiming at a target, because if you accidentally let go, you don't want to hit something else. If you don't have a target and you don't trust yourself to point an arrow at something, then you can do it without the arrow, though just do bear in mind you do need something to tell you that you are reaching beyond your normal draw length. So you can do it without, but you have to do it by feel. That's fine. Remember that the exercise requires you to have continuous expansion at normal speed. So instead of going click and hold that for 10 seconds, it's meant to be continually expanding until you reach the extra centimeter past your normal draw length. This exercise is done with 6 repetitions and 5 sets. There's around 30 seconds of rest between each repetition and 2 minutes between each set. The final exercise looks at structure. And the purpose of this one is to get the feeling of the correct shoulder position and alignment. Now this does look kind of strange, but it will make sense. What you do basically is to draw the bow behind your head. And back view. And the other back view. Again, the point is to get the feeling of the right shoulder alignment at full draw, and surprisingly, this exercise does achieve that. And for that reason, it is also recommended as a warm-up activity. I personally do it with a stretching band, and you can do it with a bow. So those are the 4 SPT exercises: endurance, strength, flexibility, and structure. Now, the recommended training routine for an archer is 5 times per week, 1 hour each day. That is serious training. Now, most of us who are casual, recreational archers might not even do one day. But remember, shooting is just practice, and practice by itself isn't training. For those who want to improve and actually get better at archery, we'll need to undertake some kind of training. And that is what the professionals do. That is the dividing line between someone who can beat their personal best and reach top level and someone who only shoots as a fun thing. So if you want to push yourself to become an athlete in archery, then this is the sort of thing you will have to look at. It's not necessarily fun, and admittedly, very few people actually enjoy this, but this is training. Not all training exercises are fun, but they are there to condition you to become a better athlete. If you can't follow that strict routine of 5 times per week or 1 hour per day, then try to do what you can. It might be half an hour. It might be one of these exercises each day rather than all 3. You might want to focus on endurance or strength or flexibility or a combination of 2 or more each time, and that way you're doing something. Try to build yourself up using what time and resources you have so that you have some form of training on a regular basis. And again, I will say from personal experience that if you follow these exercises and you have a formal training routine, you will notice significant gains in your strength, conditioning and control of your shooting process. And if you don't do it, then you feel yourself slip. So do keep in mind, again, archery as a sport does involve training, and that's the commitment you need to make. If you're not a sport target archer and you want to adopt this for traditional shooting, of course, same exercises. You still have the same endurance holding exercises. You still have the same strength exercises, although of course you're not using a sight or a clicker, and you have the same flexibility exercises. So you can adapt this to suit your equipment. And that concludes my presentation on the specific purpose training exercises. I won't lie to you, it's going to hurt. Once you start doing this, you will feel pain in your arms, in your shoulders, and it'll make you hate archery. But that's training, and as everyone says of training, no pain, no gain. If you can get through this, you will see yourself growing as an archer, and hopefully your scores will reflect that. This is NUSensei. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.